Topaz has been out for a couple weeks now in Honkai Star Rail, so today we're going to look at how good Topaz currently is, and then we're going to do some speculation about how good she can be in the future, which, spoiler alert, I think that in the future she's going to become way better. So, starting out now with her current state of the game. So, when Topaz first came out and I had my initial testing, I felt pretty similarly about Topaz as I felt about Kafka when she released back in 1.2, because both of them are the sort of main characters people use for specific playstyles. For Kafka, it's the DOT playstyle, and then with Topaz, it's going to be the follow-up playstyle. But compared to Kafka, Topaz did feel a bit more underwhelming on release for me. And this could partially be because I don't really have many follow-up characters built up. I think the only one I have built up right now is Clara, and she's not even that well built. But, with that, it just feels like Topaz doesn't have the pieces as well in place for her to be amazing right now that Kafka did on release. Because on release, Kafka already had Sampo, and players, knowing that Kafka is going to be DOT based, were able to work on their Sampo. And then also, and Sampo being really good as well. And also, Kafka had Luca on her banner as well, which is also just a really great DOT option. And then, a couple versions later, on Topaz's banner, actually, we get Gwynaifen, who's also good for Fire DOT. So, yeah, Kafka, just having the sort of blueprint there already, helps her out a lot more compared to Topaz. But Topaz is definitely not bad. She does perform decently well. She provides a really good utility, which is also nice. And then the Numby follow-up attacks, him having his own sort of turn, also helps as well. But the main thing that kind of just, isn't the greatest thing for me right now for Topaz is that she is a hunt character who doesn't have, those big DPS numbers that you'll see a lot of other great, 5-star hunt characters having. As much as people apparently don't like using him, Yang Jing can do some decent damage, for sure. You have Sela, who does amazing damage as a hunt character. And, you have some of the other, hunt 4-stars as well. So really just thinking about how Topaz, her damage doesn't end up being that promising a lot of the time. She does have that same kind of thing as Kafka, where she can either be a damage dealer, or she could be a bit more of a sub DPS. So, yeah, taking that into consideration here, I definitely think her being a sub DPS, if I look at it in that lens, Topaz is pretty solid overall. I definitely don't want people to think that she's bad just because she's not putting up crazy damage numbers like Sela does, but she could still do some very solid damage as well. I just think her place in the game right now with follow-up attack characters is a little underwhelming, just because she doesn't have all of the puzzle pieces to make her as good as she could be. But that leads me right into what I think her future potential is going to be. And I do think that, similarly to Kafka, Topaz is going to end up being future-proof because she's really ingrained into the playstyle of follow-up attacks. So any character that comes out that uses follow-up attacks or has anything to do with follow-up attacks, Topaz is going to benefit them a lot, and that just makes Topaz more and more valuable. So I think right now, just because people, don't have as many follow-up attack characters or don't really see, the appeal of Topaz, right now aren't pulling for her, I think if we do get some more follow-up attack characters in the future, we are going to start seeing people see a lot more value in Topaz, and if Topaz gets a rerun, I do expect it to be performing a lot better as well, once we have more better follow-up attack options on teams. Because right now, realistically, the only follow-up attack characters that really matter, I'd say, are going to be Jing Yuan, Clara, and maybe Himiko, depending on how well you have her built and whatnot. Because we do also have Herta, who is just okay, and then we have March 7th, who does follow-up attacks, but I feel like people are gonna be more focused on her sustain than her follow-up attacks. But yeah, any sort of new follow-up attack characters that we might get, or any extra buffs to follow-up attacks, whether it be a universal buff, or if something like a relic set were to come out that would target follow-up attack characters and boost them a lot more, that could also be very powerful for Topaz as well. So I do think that as time goes on, as we get more characters into the game, Topaz will actually become a lot better. So kind of just like Kafka, but to a much more degree, I think. You just gotta let Topaz cook. So, overall for this, even though Topaz doesn't feel as good as a lot of the other limited 5 stars on release, I do think that she does have a lot of potential growth for when other characters come out. So because of that, I don't think she's going to end up being power crept for as long, or as fast, I should say, as a lot of other characters have been, or have been starting to experience a little bit of power creep. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you all think of Topaz right now. Definitely interested to hear all your thoughts on that. But with that, everyone, I'm going to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, definitely be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell. But with that, I will see you all next time.